Today we're in the USA checking out this awesome Tacoma. Well, Cole, awesome to catch up. We're in Dayton, Ohio, beautiful day, and the Tacoma's looking better than ever.
I know, I'm excited about how it's looking.
It's been on quite the journey, but maybe let's go back to the start when you first got the truck. It's had a number of stages of upgrade.
Yeah, so it started out as just a base model SR5, white Tacoma, no lift, no wheels, no tires, run of the mill, which I bought it that way because I knew that it was gonna inevitably be this.
Basic spec to then build on.
Yeah. I've made a lot of videos about this truck. I put it out there and a lot of people were like, why didn't you just buy a TRD? Because people think that this is what a TRD should be. But in my opinion, I think that this is better than a TRD by connecting yourself with businesses and companies to make it just a monstrosity on the road and off-road.
So traveling and touring is something you enjoy, and the truck's been developed to support that?
Yeah, so I built this truck for a quick setup. When you go on a camping trip, you know, it takes an hour, hour and a half to set up, whereas with this, you're set up for camp for the night in about 10, 15 minutes. I think the big thing for camping and for overlanding and being on the road is kind of creating a space that feels like a home away from home. I think that for me, like doing this with my wife, there's parts about this that she wanted it to be luxurious in a way, but also still feel like you're off grid. So a big thing for us was like having a tent that could fit us and our dog. The Smitty built rooftop tent, it's the XL, which it opens this way instead of opening like this.
Sure.
Which gives us a little bit more room and gives us a section on the other side that's kind of away from the sun.
Yep.
And then having this 270 awning from Open Road is super nice because it's not just opening this way, it's opening all the way around. So when we're sitting here enjoying dinner with our tire table that connects to this tire. And then when you swing around to the back, the swing out's out and the tailgate's down and you got a section for cooking and you're still away from the sun.
So from here, like we're in Dayton, Ohio, and there's really accessible locations. Like I know it's a decent drive. Yeah. You know, you can go North Michigan. You've been up there traveling and camping?
Yeah, last summer we did a long weekend trip. I think it was about a week, and we went all the way up to the UP and back. And we took the road less traveled wherever we could. I mean, you can pretty much go north, south, west, east in any direction and find a spot to camp, which people give us a hard time about having a rig like this in the Midwest, but like, you know, we use it, we live cheap here, and then we get to go out and explore.
The chassis on the Tacoma is not bad from factory, but it's somewhat limited on suspension and you know, factory wheels and tires. So that's often one of the first things that gets upgraded. The wheel package is our FXH X04s, which we've been working together on. You know, great design, 17 by 8.5. They're a 3,200 pound rated wheel, so they can definitely handle the bigger tires and the bigger weights. But you've recently just done a big overhaul on the suspension as well.
Yeah, so I partnered with Dirt King and Locked Off Road to set up this truck the way that it needed to. I think, you know, we did this, I think it was a 3.5, 4 week trip out west this time last year. We tried to do some off-roading and it was possible, but like by the end of that trip, the stuff that should last a few years was beat from 6,000 miles on and off-road. So I partnered with Dirt King and Locked Off Road to outfit this the way that I needed it. So we got a full long travel kit. In the front, we've got Dirt King's lower and upper control arms. They're +2 long travel spec. That's paired with Locked Off Road's 2.5 coilover long travel spec with resis. And then in the rear, we went the extra mile and we did Locked Off Road's 14-inch smooth body that mounts up into the bed. So we've got 14 inches of down travel now, so we can do a bit more off-roading than we could before.
Yeah, it looks like a great kit, like the fitment, and you've got bump stops there as well.
Yep, I partnered with them to do the bump stops as well, and then we did Archive Garage relocation towers. You know, it's not like a plug and play lift on this truck. We had to cut out the old shock mounts, and then we had to weld in these relocation towers so that we could get those shocks up in there. When you've got, you know, just your standard 3-inch lift kit on a truck, like you can do those roads, but you got to go really, really slow. With this kit, like I can go normal driving speeds down dirt roads and I feel like I'm driving on a normal road, which was what I always wanted this truck to feel like.
So performance-wise, it's running a 35-inch equivalent tyre from factory. It's well known that Tacoma and the 3.5 litre V6 is a little bit anemic on the performance side. And that's before you start adding accessories and I don't know what this truck weighs, but it's obviously got a fair bit of extra mass added to it. What was your impressions around the Tacoma initially before we started talking about the performance mod?
Oh man, it was slow. It was really, really slow. I think one of the first things we did is we did 33s on the stock wheels. And I think as soon as I had a bed rack and a tent on it, I could feel that it just did not want to accelerate. Whether that was on the highway, whether that was off-road, whether it was just driving around town, it just felt very, very sluggish. In the grand scheme of things, that's not that much extra weight in the rear, and it wasn't that much bigger of a tire than the OEM tire that was on it.
And automatic transmission as well. It's not the manual, so it does need more torque to sort of drive through that.
Yeah, so we needed to do something.
So our Supercharger kit, it's excited to be available now, and we got together. We've got the kit installed, so let's take a look.
Yeah.
Well, there she is, the TVS1900. Interestingly, you got the install done, you and your buddies, without too much effort. You're not a mechanic by trade.
Right.
But what's the first reaction you had after you actually got to drive it?
Oh man, it was like a whole different truck.
Yeah.
You know, I ran the 35s on the truck for maybe like 2 months before, and I did have a tune on it. People that own Tacomas and get that kind of thing put on their truck, they know that it's really just like controlling the throttle, and that's it. It's not really doing much performance for you. It's really just telling it to give you more throttle than you would have normally from factory. And when I had those 35s on and I had that tune, I mean, still it was like very, very slow. Like doing the off-road stuff was fine, but like the highway driving was miserable. The RPMs were all over the place. And when we put this on in December, like first drive was night and day difference.
Yeah.
It felt like I was driving a whole different vehicle, and it felt like what I had always wanted this truck to feel like. And beside any of the performance stuff, it just looks amazing sitting in this engine bay.
Yeah, so it's modest boost. We've had other videos on the channel at 6.5 PSI peak. I think it's close to 40% gain in power, but it's the torque with the positive displacement. The torque comes in so much sooner, which is what you feel behind the wheel and carries it all the way through. So it's almost the must-have upgrade for Tacomas that get used in an adventure rig like this one. You've recently had the wrap done as well, which I love. This color's fairly unique, is it?
Yes, so Nosatec makes this. This is like a pretty new color. It's called metallic mocha, and for years, I mean, it was white and then it was khaki green. And when I found this color, because they made similar colors, but they were matte, and I'm just not a matte guy myself. So when they had this like high gloss, super metallic, like bronze mocha color, I had to do it. And some of my best friends in a shop. As I've gotten older, I have realized the mentality of like buy once, cry once. So we did all of this at once. We did the suspension, we did these wide body fenders from Advanced Fiberglass Concepts, and then we did this wrap because this is where I wanted the truck to be. There's still a few things that we're gonna do, but like, I feel like it's close to being in its final stage.
No, it complements the truck, fantastic. Looks great with the wheels and tires. Obviously the Supercharger takes care of the performance. So not only have you got a lot of partners that have helped with these great products, but some of the upgrades you've fabricated and built yourself, which is super cool.
Yeah, so the front bumper specifically is something that myself, my friend Kevin, and his dad built from scratch. People think that building a truck like this is super unattainable. I'm big on the mentality of if you want something bad enough, you can do it yourself. When I park this at a campsite, or if I park it at a client's shop and I look back at it, I can think, you know, I did a lot of that myself.
Yep.
So this bumper was like a love child of a bunch of different bumpers I'd seen.
Yep.
Made it from scratch. You know, it's got its flaws, but it's fun that like me and like a buddy of mine got to just make it, you know?
No, that's awesome. And the side steps are functional. So where did the love of trucks come from?
Growing up around machines and growing up around like, you know, my dad owns an excavation business, and I would spend every weekend here actually where we're filming doing oil changes with him on heavy pieces of equipment, or, you know, working on his 97 pickup, or working on my grandpa's 97 pickup. I've always loved car stuff. You know, I used to build motorcycles, and when I got to a point in my life that I was like, okay, I don't really want to ride bikes anymore. I kind of want to put this energy into something else. That's what this monstrosity has become, is, you know, giving some other things up and doing this. And it's not like anything I've ever had before, but it's something that I've always wanted. And when me and my wife first met, she had a 4Runner and I'd always wanted a Tacoma, and I sold some things to get this. And
yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
for sure. I really appreciate the opportunity to catch up. Love the truck, it's awesome. Viewers can check out Cole Carpenter on socials. There's some great travel and photography. It's really top notch. If you want to learn more about our supercharger kit for the Tacoma, go to harropusa.com, or our range of off-road wheels at FXH Wheels. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.